listening to Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. Here are your hosts, Rob Troutman, Josh Jeffy, Ed Dick, and Sean Duffy.
And welcome to Sports on Tap. We're part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. I'm Rob Troutman. We have Josh Jeffy and me, Rob Troutman, here. We have Ed Dick and Sean Duffy out on assignment.
Yes, sir.
Tonight.
Yes, sir.
We are live at Z's Cream and Bean in Hinckley, Ohio, 2706 Boston Road. And tell you what, it's snowing and it's cold outside, but it really is warm inside. So if you want hot chocolate.
Yes, it's temperate.
Exactly.
Or a nice latte.
Yeah.
That's what I'm enjoying
coffee.
right now.
You know, they do still serve ice cream. They have chili soup. And if you want to come up here, you know, you can bring your laptop. They do have free Wi-Fi.
Yes. And just FYI, their soups of the day today are broccoli, cheese, Idaho potato, vegetable, and chili.
Nice.
So a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah, and we've been up here the first Thursday of every month. We are up here talking high school sports. Although tonight we are going to talk a little Cleveland sports probably at the end of our show.
Yeah, we'd like to do that every now and again. And there's actually quite a bit going on in Cleveland sports.
What, though? I mean,
we have the upcoming NFL draft. We have the upcoming exciting MLB Cleveland Indians season. And then we also have, the defending world champion Cleveland Cavaliers in the midst of another championship run. So we got plenty to talk about as we go forth.
And the Cavaliers did make an official announcement today on another player that will be in Cleveland that we'll talk about later in the show. We'll also, what we're going to do in our first segment is break down a little bit of some of the different district boys and girls basketball tournaments going on in the area. And then in our second segment, we had a chance to sit down, or actually not sit down, but we talked to head coach of the Padua Lady Bruins, Dan Brown, about their season so far. They had 18 wins so far, and they have reached the championship in the Elyria Division II district, in which they'll face Elyria Catholic, and I believe that game is tonight. So we'll play that interview, hear what he had to say about the tournament, about facing some tough opponents, and how he actually started in basketball. You know, he was the statistician for the Brunswick Blue Devils when we were there.
Yeah, way back in the day. So he's definitely been around the game for a long time.
And he's really, his story is pretty neat how it happened, and he broke it down for us. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But first, Josh.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, the brackets have been out. The games are going in, we'll start in boys basketball with the Copley District. And that has, as the number one seed, it was Archbishop Hoban. You have Hudson, Brunswick, and Brunswick will take on Wadsworth, as Wadsworth beat the 12th seed Akron North 76-28 in the semifinals, in that sectional semifinals. Medina had a bye in the first round. Nordonia defeated Cuyahoga Falls. It was 11 versus 10 there, and Nordonia was victorious 58-56. Then you have Stowe in this division. Highland beat Walsh Jesuit 42-36. So some of the games that will be happening Saturday from the Copley District are number one Archbishop Hoban against Hudson. The number 3 seed Brunswick takes on number 5 Wadsworth. Number 2 Medina, they take on number 11 Nordonia. And then number 4 Stowe Monroe Falls takes on number 6 Highland. So some really good games there, Josh. And, we've seen some of these teams. Brunswick has played Medina and Highland. We've seen what Stowe can do. That's a pretty impressive bracket, and I think can go either way with some of these teams.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, we saw, just quickly in one of the other brackets, the 12th seed Strongsville with a big victory. They moved on. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So, like any tournament game, it is March Madness. So you're going to have to be ready to come out and play. And teams that are coming off a bye in this bracket, they're going to have to be ready to play. It's going to be interesting to see, like the game like Brunswick-Wadsworth. Those two teams don't really match up too often. So we'll see how that one goes, Medina and Nordonia, those two teams might meet in football, but maybe not so much in basketball. So this is where it kind of gets interesting, where you don't really have an idea how the opponent is. You're going to have to scout from the previous tournament game. And you know how tournaments are, Rob. It comes down to what team is playing the best and what team is hotter at that moment.
Yeah, and that's one thing when we talk to coaches, going into these playoffs, you want to end the regular season on a high note and get on a little bit of a streak. And, some of these teams had byes. Brunswick and Medina had byes in Stowe, along with Archbishop Hoban. How are they all going to come out after having the first-round bye? Hudson with a 13-point win over the number 9 seed Firestone in the first round, 69-56. So they'll match up versus Archbishop Hoban. And then Brunswick-Wadsworth, we went over Medina-Nordonia. Stowe Monroe Falls versus Highland. And Highland's one of those teams, they like to keep it low scoring. They're not a team that's going to get out and run as they're 42-36. Walsh and Brunswick, remember early on in the season, Brunswick won, I think it was like 32-29.
Defensive game, yeah.
Yeah, and talked to Coach Mackey, and they weren't hitting any shots, but that's how Walsh liked it too. They liked the low-scoring games. Highland, I believe, did beat Brunswick earlier in the season, and impressive there. So, again, that's the Copley district. Now let's move to the Elyria district, and this is the one, Josh. Number 2, Elyria had a bye. It was number 12 Strongsville taking on number 9 Midview, and the Mustangs with a 64-60 win, and we'll have a Greater Cleveland Conference matchup in the sectional finals.
Yeah, for sure, and you got to give Coach Collins a lot of credit for that victory. Strongsville's been kind of down lately, with their basketball program, but they're starting to pick it up, and a game like that will really, really help their program with confidence going further.
Yeah. And little Mike, here we go. All right, I think we're good.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, but number 3 Olmsted Falls, they had a bye in the first round. And it was number 5 Avon Lake with a 54-40 winner over number 7 Westlake. And the number 4 Avon Eagles, they had a bye in the sectional semifinals. Number 6 Berea Mid-Park, they fell to the number 8 seed North Olmsted Eagles 41-40. And then the number 11 Amherst Steel Comets, they had a bye. And then number 1 Lorraine defeated number 10 North Ridgeville 87-38.
Yeah, that was a big victory for Lorraine. They are the cream of the crop of this bracket for sure. They are the ones that are leading the charge. Good program, good team last year that went pretty far in the playoffs. Now we have this team this year who got off to already a good start. They are the number 1 seed in the bracket.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Lorraine, especially North Ridgeville has not been bad this year. They've been, average, but Lorraine holding them to 38 points in that game, but scoring 87. We knew Lorraine can score, but holding North Ridgeville to 38 points is pretty impressive. So you look at some of the Saturday games out of Elyria. It's number 2 Elyria against number 12 Strongsville. Number 3 Olmsted Falls takes on number 5 Avon Lake. Number 4 Avon takes on number 8 North Olmsted. And number 11 Amherst takes on number 1 Lorraine. So a 1 versus 11 matchup there. So some really good matchups. And like you said, in high school boys basketball, anything can happen when you're in the playoffs.
For sure.
All right, let's move out of that district, and let's head to the Strongsville district, as we'll skip around a little bit. The number 1 seed in this district was St. Ignatius, so they got the bye. And in the first round action, it was number 5 Parma defeating number 10 Valley Forge 66-62.
Little inter-city rivalry there.
Yeah.
Nice first-round matchup.
Right. Yeah, pretty much across the street from each other, really, when you look at where they're located. Number 3 Brecksville Broadview Heights had a bye. And then number 6 John Marshall, they defeated number 9 Rhodes 59-54. Number 8 Normandy had a bye. Number 4 North Royalton defeated number 7 Lakewood 62-51. And then the 11 seed Lincoln West had a bye, and it was St. Edward, the number 2 seed, taking on number 12 Max Hayes. It was 76-23. St. Edward advanced. So you probably knew that would happen. St. Ed's is always very tough in basketball. But now some of the sectional final meetings, Josh. Number 1 St. Ignatius takes on number 5 Parma. Do you think Parma can pull an upset? The Redmen trying for an upset against the Wildcats there.
I mean, when you have a number 1 seed and a number 5, pretty much you're going to go. The favorite is going to be the number 1 seed. But I tell you what, Parma with a big victory in the round 1 of this bracket, that could really propel them. And again, you have to come out and play your A game. Parma's had a pretty good season, being the 5th seed in this bracket. That's nothing to write home about. I mean, they're actually pretty decent. So I think St. Ignatius has to come out and play their A game if they want to beat Parma.
Well, and St. Ignatius has been the number 1 seed most of this year in the Cleveland.com top 25. So Ignatius has been there all year. They've been getting some solid ones. But Parma this year has been having an up year for them. I think they've had a pretty good year, with the number 5 seed. Then you have number 3 Brecksville Broadview Heights taking on number 6 John Marshall. And Brecksville Broadview Heights, we know a lot about them. They like to get out and run. They have shooters from all over. They're always a very impressive team. Not to mention they can bang the boards on the glass, so they're going to get the rebounding. Can John Marshall, slow the game down and get it to their pace for the W? That could be a tough one, but should be an interesting matchup. Mm-hmm. Then number 8 Normandy takes on number 4 North Royalton, and North Royalton has had a pretty good year, especially off a nice win against that Lakewood team. The Rangers out there 62-51. So Normandy getting the bye, and they'll take on North Royalton. And then you have number 11 Lincoln West. They got the bye. They will face a very tough St. Edward squad who has been also at the top of the Cleveland.com's top 25. I think that's going to be a really tough matchup for Lincoln West. But we've seen weirder things happen.
For sure.
All right. So that's a little bit of some of the brackets around this area. And actually, I mean, if you want to get into Division II North Ridgeville bracket, you have Rocky River against Holy Name. That will skip right to the sectional finals. Padua, number 5 seed, takes on number 7 Fairview. Fairview had a 1-point win at Firelands. And the number 3 Buckeye Bucks, they got a bye, and they won in their Patriot Athletic Conference. So they won their conference this year. They'll take on the number 4 Clairview Clippers out there, and it's a number 3 versus number 4 battle. Then you have the number 6 Keystone Wildcats taking on the number 2 Bay Rockets. Bay with an 80-54 win over Brookside. That's Division II. Some teams in our area. So good luck to all the teams in the boys Division I and Division II, and really all the divisions, 3 and then on. So congratulations to the team that won in the first rounds, and now we can go over to the girls. And let's see what's going on in the girls. In the Elyria bracket, you have, and it's been a lot of fun. Did you want to talk or say anything about the boys bracket, Josh, or any of the brackets or tournament?
Oh, man, no, there's some very good games out there for sure. Each of these brackets, especially in our area, basketball is kind of under the radar. And there's a lot of good basketball players, a lot of good basketball teams, a lot of good basketball coaches. And it's a little under the radar. So take a look at the brackets and go out and catch a game. I mean, this is the state tournament now we're talking about. So a lot of good basketball to be had around. That said, for the boys, same thing with the girls as we're going to get into right now.
Yeah, we'll go over the Elyria Division I district. We had number 2 Westlake. They had a bye in the first round. Mm-hmm. Then it was number 5 Olmsted Falls. They beat the number 4 seed North Ridgeville Rangers 58-57.
Great game.
And then number 3 Avon Lake had a bye. Lorraine defeated number 7 North Olmsted 44-41. Then Avon, the number 6 seed, had a bye. Midview, the number 10 seed, had a bye. And the number 1 seed Amherst Steel had a bye. And then it was Elyria advancing over Valley Forge 48-29. Now in rounds, they're actually already in the championship in round 4. It was Olmsted Falls beating Westlake, and Olmsted Falls beating Avon Lake 42-39 in that upper bracket, and they make it to the championship game, which is happening tomorrow night at 8 p.m. at Elyria Catholic High School. It's Olmsted Falls against number 6 Avon, and Avon, how about this? An upset as they defeated the number 1 Amherst Steel Comets 35-33.
Prime example right there. You got to come out and play. Any team can beat you in tournament time.
I mean, Westlake was the 2 seed. Olmsted Falls beat the number 2 and 3 seed. So it's number 5 Olmsted Falls against number 6 Avon in the Elyria district. That should be a really good game because number 1, 2, and 3 all bounced in that
Anything
tournament.
goes. Anything goes.
All right, let's go to, let's see here.
How about the Medina bracket?
Yeah, right up the street here. We're in Hinckley at Z's Cream and Bean. Head up to Medina and see the district.
There you go.
There you go. You wanna talk about the games, or do you want?
Well,
me?
we're looking at the district final is set. This one went pretty chalk. Number 1 versus number 2. Number 1 Berea Mid Park will face off against number 2 Wadsworth. Both teams had a relatively easy go of it as they went through the bracket. Some teams that we as alums are familiar with. Brunswick was the number 8 seed. They lost in the first round of the bracket to Cuyahoga Falls, 42-62. Again to Cuyahoga Falls. Other teams in the bracket, Wadsworth again, who is in the district final. They beat their opening game was against number 9 Firestone. They won 85-44. Cuyahoga Falls, they lost against Worcester. Worcester was the number 3 seed. Cuyahoga Falls was the number 7 seed as they previously defeated Brunswick. They lost 62-58. Berea Mid Park with a 19-point victory over the number 10 seed Copley in their opening round matchup. And then number 5 Highland did play number 6 North Royalton. They had a victory there. They moved on to play number 4 Strongsville, which Strongsville defeated Highland 59-47. In the semifinal round, we had Wadsworth 64 over Worcester 64-37, and then Berea Mid Park with a 52-39 victory over Strongsville. So that leads up to the district final, which is happening as we speak. Number 2 Wadsworth against number 1 Berea Mid Park. I will look to see if I can get an updated score on that game as we speak.
Yeah, and looking at some of the scores with Wadsworth and Berea Mid Park. Wadsworth, how about that 85-44 win? They really haven't had too many close games in this tournament. Another 64-37 win, like you said. And then Berea Mid Park, no real close games for either of these teams. So this should be a really good game. Wadsworth is always known to produce really good girls basketball teams, and they do a heck of a job out there. And Berea Mid Park, I believe it's Coach Broughton that is the coach of Berea Mid Park. I believe he's still at the helm there. So congratulations really to all these teams to make for an exciting district over there in Medina. And I guess if people want to go see that bracket, they better head out there now because it's probably at halftime.
It is halftime, Rob, where Wadsworth holds a 27-22 lead over Berea Mid Park.
Wow, it's a close game. So still anything can happen. Let's go to the Division I Parma district, and then we'll go to Division II Elyria district where earlier this week we had a chance to talk to head coach of the Padua Lady Bruins, Dan Brown, and we'll get to that interview here shortly. But you look at the Division I Parma district, St. Joseph Academy, and here my wife went to school. They would be really, really proud of their team being the number 1 seed. What they wouldn't be proud of is the fact that the Medina Bees had an upset against the St. Joseph Academy there, 42-34. That was in round 3. So, in this, there was Medina and Parma. Medina beat Parma by 10. Then Magnificat. How about this? A 67-20 victory over Garfield Heights. Lakewood with a big win over Normandy. 65-43. And then Lakewood with a big win over Magnificat, 47-36. And in the Upper District, they would love to hear this for the St. Joseph Academy. They're not listening right now, but Medina, the 5th seed, defeated St. Joseph Academy 42-37. It's the Bees at the number 5 seed against the Lakewood Rangers. Number 5 versus number 3. And that actually is happening tonight.
I will try to get an updated score as we speak, Rob.
So that game was at 7, so that game probably also at halftime. But congratulations to the Bees and the Rangers for making the championship. But should be a pretty good game. Again, not the number 1 and 2 seed, but the 3 against 5 there.
Rob, you are really good on your timing, my friend. It is halftime. Lakewood, actually, with a 28-16 lead.
Whoa!
At the half.
Still a lot of game to be played. Mm-hmm. And another one you'll have to be checking up on is Padua. Padua against Elyria Catholic, and my daughter just got here, so I was waving to her as they're picking out their ice cream right now. So get up here. Pick out some ice cream. It's good. It's cold out, but it's still warm and good in here. All right, let's look at the Division II Elyria District. It was Elyria Catholic. They took on Fairview in the second round and won 64-31. Then they continued as they took on Keystone and won by 5, 45-40. Elyria Catholic came out of the upper division as the number 1 seed. They're in the championship. And head coach Dan Brown, we talked to him earlier in the week. They faced Buckeye. They won 68-36. That's his alum. He's an alum from there. And then they faced Bay, which they've always had very tough games. It was 64-46 there. The number 2 Padua Lady Bruins with a victory there. So it's Elyria Catholic, the number 1 seed, and the number 2 seed, the Padua Lady Bruins. And what do we have there?
And currently we are in the third quarter, actually the end of the third quarter.
Wow.
Where the Lady Bruins do lead 38-28. So maybe a little sports on tap, good karma going towards the Lady Bruins as we interviewed Coach Dan Brown. You'll hear momentarily.
Yeah, and, he said Elyria Catholic was one of those teams that was tough. He also said Bay was tough. He knows a lot of those coaches, good friends there, and they just know the offenses. But, he's had to switch a lot of things up out there, and they've been very impressive with their wins so far this year. 18 wins this year before the tournament started. So congratulations to them on having a great season so far, and they look to continue that